Hi, welcome to the week 5 activity. If you're a hybrid student, you'll be doing this face-to-face, so you don't need to worry about any of this, and there's nothing you need to submit. If you are an online student, then go ahead and listen to this video, and I'll walk you through a little of what's expected of you. You'll be doing a bit of a scavenger hunt in this, and it's the database scavenger hunt, looking through EBSCOhost, which is actually a database of databases, to get really specific. But you'll be using EBSCOhost to do a search, and in that you're going to be looking for a specific article. Now, I know that this exercise can be frustrating. There's a very specific set of prompts that you need to follow. And so every single thing here needs to be written just as it is there. And as you go down, there's also a screenshot where you'll see a little more information of what that screen is going to look like. Now you'll notice right here it says the journal name is Nursing Education Perspectives. On here it kind of cuts off that last part. Now, what's frustrating about this is if everything has been entered correctly, exactly one article populates at the end, and you found it, and that's awesome. If, and I have just recently done this, as recently as about 72 hours ago, the article is still there. If you do not get an article that pops up when you do this exact search, that means that something in the search is off. You need to be very detail-oriented on this and make sure that everything is entered exactly as told. Now, the reason this is important is when you move forward throughout the semester, based on your PICO question, you start looking for articles. Any little typo, anything that's off, any small variation can make it so you're not getting access to the evidence you need. EBSCOhost does not work the same way as Google, where you type something and they're like, oh, maybe you meant this thing that's kind of close, and it adjusts for errors and gives you synonyms and all of that. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going into your EBSCOhost, you're going to be following these directions, and then you're going to be filling out this grid. So based on the one article that populates, you need to put the full APA 6th edition reference in the article, or for the article. This needs to be done correctly. Errors in this reference right here, and the way it's formatted for APA 6th edition, those errors can cause you to lose some points. And I know that seems incredibly picky, but it's good for you to start getting into the practice of paying attention to those references in every little detail. Again, not only this course, but the BSN as a whole. A lot of points are often lost based on something that is somewhat straightforward. So use everything you learned in week 1 about APA as well as your APA manual. Make sure your reference is done in there correctly. It'll ask you for the geometric shape that is in the figures. It's the first figure. Again, it says here, like, seen once the PDF full text is opened. And then the ISSN number, and that's under the detailed records for that exact same article. They should be fairly easy to find once you find the right article. So if you haven't found one, that one specific article, if you didn't end up with a result of 1, go back in and check your search. You're also going to answer the following questions. You need to put your P-code question here. Type out the question, make sure it's included with the question mark at the end. So what databases would be appropriate for a search for your P-code question? Many of these are nursing, but you may also find things under education, psychology, medicine, social work. So look and see what kind of databases might be applicable to your specific interest. What combination of Boolean phrases will be used? Don't only write the words and, or not, but make sure you put the words that connect those. So if you're studying like pediatrics and cancer, not leukemia, because you're looking specifically at pediatric cancers that are not leukemia, you need to make sure that you have the and, or not, as well as the words that you're looking for in the phrase, so that you can start thinking through how you're going to be searching for your specific question coming up soon. Also, what inclusion and exclusion criteria should be used, date parameters, language. If you speak a language other than English, absolutely feel free to search for articles in that language. That is not a problem at all. Date parameters, I would highly recommend looking for things within the last 5 years. In your final assignment, there's parameters in there, I believe, that state it must be within the last 10 years. If you start with 5, that's a better way to kind of narrow down searches. So you can look through that. And then what results were found when you typed in your Boolean phrase, how many results were found? So similar to the way that you put the information in for the scavenger hunt, where you look at like full text and scholarly and dates and stuff like that. Again, not these dates, but um, dates for the articles that you are looking for. As you do that, it's a similar kind of search you're going to be using here. So remember, put your Boolean phrase, your inclusion and exclusion criteria, and then when you press search, what did you find? How many hits were there? And so if you tried 3 or 4 different phrases to get something to work, then put the phrase and how many hits you got, the second phrase you tried, how many hits you got, that kind of thing. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your professor. Again, this is worth 3 points, and you do need to turn in this exact grid, which you can find in your modules. There's a template for it listed specifically under week 5. So if you're a face-to-face student for this week for hybrid, you don't need to submit this. We'll be doing this in class with your instructors. If you're an online student only, then please make sure this is submitted by the end of the week.